What's up, everyone? Welcome to Eyes Closed with Taking Back Sunday.
Hi.
Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for having us.
In this spirit of looking back, if you think of your first time touring Europe, what's like the first association that you have that comes to your mind when you think of like your first time in Europe?
My first thought is Sean wasn't there.
That's true.
True.
And neither was John. And we had a buzz going at that time over here. We were supposed to go with them, but it didn't work out, and we came. So at that time, man, it's weird that we've been touring long enough to go like where we were yesterday in London, just hanging out. We went out to dinner, me and a couple of guys, and the neighborhood changed for the better in that area, in the Kensington area.
Yeah, well, it's crazy that awful pub that used to be at the end of the block by the hotel.
I was a little sad.
Yeah.
I was a little sad that it was gone.
It was terrible. It was always empty. It was always smelly, but it was kind of a fun place to go. It was like a neighborhood pub for people that were, you had to be like 65 years old or older to go in. So they always looked at us like total psychos. Now it's like an office space and it's all clean and everything, but they still have like one of the signs outside. But yeah, it's interesting too because when you come over here for the first time, everything feels so different and crazy, and you're a young kid and stuff. You're like, oh, I'm so far away from home and the time difference. Now it kind of feels like home. Now we go to a lot of weirder places, and this is like, okay, I know where this shop is. I know where I'm going to get a kebab. That place is better than the one down the block and stuff. So it's really cool to see that evolution just within yourself. Like you get comfortable and you find the good things that make you feel more at home, right?
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, so neighborhood pubs
Yeah.
that attract a rather sketchy crowd.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you remember your first Germany show?
Well, over the last like 8 years, we made it a point to go back to Germany every couple of years. Like anytime we get over the UK, we always try and head to Germany. And we've seen those not very well attended shows transition into some of the best shows of the tour.
Amazing.
So like we've been able to move up venues in cities like Cologne, and then the crowds weren't rowdy because they were very sparse. They've started to get rowdy, and we really look forward to it. And it shows that the hard work has paid off to continually go back because we always love the areas. We've always really enjoyed going to the different cities and stuff, and have had a good time, but just the shows are a little bit of a struggle. Now they're not so much anymore, and it feels very similar to the UK.
Yeah.
So it's been great to see that progress that we've made.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I wish I could catch you guys over there, but
Next time.
so let's talk about the two. Hello, you're right. Do they need to
Jesus
come in?
Your interview.
Do they need something? From
No,
me?
absolutely not. He's just ruining everything today.
Great. Adding a little spice.
Yeah, that's
Why not?
John. That was John trying to barge his way into our interview.
You may come in if you so wish. I was going to talk to you about the two new songs that you put on 20. Why do they belong on that record?
I think it's good to have a couple of fresh songs to put on there to keep it new and exciting for us, at least, just having two new songs. It was kind of cool too because we didn't have to make a full album or anything. It wasn't a long process. It was just making those two songs, and we liked it, and that was it.
And what was cool too, it was a bit back to our roots. It was just the four of us in a room. There wasn't a producer. There wasn't anyone kind of directing us which way to go, which is how we did all of our original demos and kind of everything that morphed into Tell Your Friends and stuff. So it was the first time really since our demos where we didn't have anyone else in the room. Jesus.
You can come in. It's
John,
fine.
come in and say hello to the camera. He missed soundcheck today.
Honestly-
Now he's barging in the
honestly, it's
interview.
fine.
This is your interview, bro.
I'm editing this thing, so I can cut it all out. It's cool.
We're going to switch out.
Doodle switcheroo.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
What's going on? Just crashing our interview like it's your business.
Yes,
Cool.
I just arrived in a cab, and it took an hour and 20 minutes to go about 10 miles, so
I'm very
I apologize.
sorry to hear this. No, I mean, we'll just continue like nothing happened. I mean,
I was in the
Mark
mo-
has
Mark-
grown some hair in the meantime, but
Yeah.
that's how long the cab ride took.
Uh-huh.
Right? So,
And a beard, too. It's wild. But yeah, I was in the middle of a very prescient point. I was saying that with the two new songs on 20, it was kind of a return to form. Like we did our first demos because there was no adults in the room telling us what to do. There's no producer or anything. Adam engineered everything. He was hitting record and setting up the mics and stuff. And then it was produced by Taking Back Sunday. So I think it was cool to experiment with that when the pressure was only for creating 2 solid songs. So I think that was nice to have that outlet and to put those songs on 20 too. I think it shows, where the record sums up where we've been, and now maybe this is a hint of where we're going in the future.
So connecting to that, I'll just pretend you've been here all along and you totally know the history of what we already talked about. So when you're writing new music, which I think you will be doing or have been doing. Do you kind of find yourself drawing inspiration from like current releases, or do you find yourself kind of going back to like the kind of like timeless sort of influences that you've had? Like I know you're big on like Beatles, Tom Petty, Pearl Jam, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think there are certain things for all of us that are always going to be there as influences, like the ones you mentioned. There's like, the classic things. And then I think there's always things that we're discovering in, some newer music, or just music we, are just discovering kind of later than we should have. But there's always things that are inspiring where we're going with music,
Is there anything in particular that you can, what would be like on your, I don't know if you do Spotify, but like on your Spotify playlist?
I've been listening to a band called Phosphorescent a lot. They just put out an album called C'est la vie a little while ago. And their album before that was also really great. And that's one of those where like I don't know that I'm necessarily drawing any direct musical influence from, but it's kind of music that's inspiring and makes me excited to make new music myself,
Yeah, totally. And music influences music, right? Like whether it sounds like that or it just leads you to just get in a certain mind space or
exactly.
Space,
I think that's more for me these days. It's very rare that I hear something I'm like, oh, I want to copy that, but it makes me excited about music,
Yeah, for sure. I get that. And so obviously with being around for such a long time, you've become better musicians. I mean, like necessarily. And so like in what way does your musical skill dictate like the kind of songs that you're writing? Like obviously like there's a lot more to a song than just like showing off your sick, like guitar riffs or whatever. But do you kind of get what I'm getting at with that question?
Sure. I think with me, you get to a certain point where you're proficient on your instrument, so there's not much space to explore, especially like on the bass. I'm not going to be doing any shredding kind of thing and like Americana kind of rock music and stuff. It just doesn't fit and it doesn't make sense, and I'm not very passionate about that sort of music. But kind of touching on John's point from earlier, it was that you'll hear something in a song that maybe you want to pull from. Maybe there's a certain drum fill or a certain way, a certain vibe that someone throws out that you kind of listen for, or maybe you notice something like the musicality in Paul McCartney's bass lines. Like I wouldn't rip off his lines, but there's certain ideas and stuff you can pull from. And I think it's more about how you think about music and how you process it. That is what we kind of add on musically, instead of who can be the best shredder or who can play the fastest or who can play the loudest. It's more of a finesse kind of thing at this stage.
Mm-hmm. I think that also, well, like, how it's like it's easy obviously to just like shred and play really loud, but like to play and sing with like dynamics and that kind of stuff is like next level, I find. Okay, amazing. I did want to quickly, just because you're here, like I might as well ask. It came out a while ago now, but the Death Wolf lyric video. I just wanted to ask about the circumstances. Like, is that something that you like planned out for a long time? Like, where was it? You guys
were hungry, right?
Shot?
Yeah, we needed sandwiches. We needed to make a music video with lyrics.
Yeah.
So we killed 2 birds with 1 stone.
What were you guys drinking? Was it root beer?
Yeah, some kind of thing that Adam bought that I never would have had, but it wasn't bad. Some kind of fancy root beer. But that, like a lot of the things that we end up doing that are a little odder, was really like a thing that started out as a joke and then you know, it's like, oh, this would have been funny if we did this. And then we're like, well, let's just do that. And then we did it.
Dude, it totally made me giggle because like there's such a build up and then that's it. But like it's hypnotizing, man. I'm just like, oh my God, how does it end? Are they gonna finish the sandwich or what's gonna happen? Are they gonna
Yeah, it turns out nothing really. But
just a high five. I mean I loved it.
Thank you.
I that's what the internet wants, man. That's high quality content right there.
Is it?
It is. I can like look into the YouTube comments, man. Like 100%.
Nice. All right. I don't rarely look at YouTube comments anymore because usually
probably a good idea.
There's something in there that will make me angry. But I bet there's a lot of good ones on that.
I'm genuinely interested about like what's in store for the future. I know you're doing finishing up the world tour. Pretty much have got this entire year planned out with touring. But in terms of like timeline and new music, like where are we? Towards what?
Well, we're not very good at working on music while we're touring, and we've kind of accepted that. But everybody's always working on ideas for songs, you know, and I feel like we all kind of stockpile ideas as we're touring, and you know, you get things here and there, but generally what we've done is when things slow down on the road, we finally get together and start exchanging ideas and, you know, actually hammering some things out. So, you know, if things go the way they normally have, that'll probably start at the beginning of next year. So that's when this whole world tour thing finally slows down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. When the tour burnout starts to hit, that's when the creativity tends to seep back in, which is nice. Okay, we've gotten the energy out on the road. Now let's get back in the studio. Let's get back in the room and make some songs. There's so much to figure out. We're free agents right now, you know, talking to labels and things like that, and we'll see what the future holds with all that stuff. But then, yeah, it'll just be fun in the new year to start the process of writing some songs and maybe emailing ideas back and forth. Mark and I are on Long Island. Right. Adam and John are down in North Carolina and stuff. So it'll be fun to get back into that. But yeah, no kind of timeline just yet.
Absolutely. And yeah, definitely understandable. You guys are well busy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I can't wait to see you guys live. I saw you at Slam Dunk last year.
Awesome. It's fun.
Super like bucket list kind of thing to do.
Nice. Slam Dunk's great.
Yeah, have an amazing time.
Thank you.
And an awesome time in Europe and the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. Literally. Okay, bye.